Simple beef enchiladas. Let me share a story that really touched me. When Maria from our community lost her husband to illness in 2018, she was suddenly raising 3 teenagers on a single income. These enchiladas became her Wednesday night tradition, affordable enough to fit her new budget, while special enough that her kids still felt some normalcy during their grief. All you need is half a pound of ground beef, a packet of taco seasoning, 8 corn tortillas, a small can of enchilada sauce, and a bit of cheese and onion. For just $4.63, you can make 8 enchiladas that feed 4 people, $1.16 per serving. Brown your beef with the chopped onion, drain excess fat, add taco seasoning with a splash of water. Dip each tortilla in enchilada sauce, fill with the beef mixture, roll up, and place in a baking dish. Pour remaining sauce over the top, sprinkle with cheese, and bake at 375 degrees for 20 minutes. Until bubbly. These enchiladas became Maria's way of saying to her kids, "We're going to be okay," without having to say the words. Food has always been how we communicate love and stability when times are tough. This recipe isn't just about feeding your family, it's about maintaining their sense of security when the world feels uncertain. In today's economy, stretching your dollar isn't just smart, it's necessary. Ground beef, that humble package in your freezer, can be transformed into 25 different meals for under $5 each. These aren't just recipes, they're survival strategies that have kept American families going through tough times for generations. Stay with me to discover how this overlooked protein could be the answer to your budget struggles. Classic stuffed peppers. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into affordable ground beef recipes that have helped real American families through tough times. Let me tell you about my neighbor Martha, who lost her job during the 2008 recession. She told me stuffed peppers were what kept her family fed for months. This isn't just food, it's a survival strategy disguised as comfort food. Bell peppers are consistently one of the most affordable vegetables year-round, currently averaging about 75 cents each. 1 pepper creates a complete meal vessel. You'll need 4 bell peppers, half a pound of ground beef, some rice, a can of tomato sauce, and an onion. Total cost, just $4.84 for 4 servings. That's $1.21 per person. The real value? This combination of protein, vegetables, and rice keeps hunger at bay for hours. Just brown your beef with diced onion and garlic. Add cooked rice and half the tomato sauce. Cut the tops off your peppers, remove the seeds, stuff them with the mixture, and pour the remaining sauce over top. Bake at 350 degrees for 35 minutes. What made this a Depression-era staple wasn't just the cost, it was how it transformed humble ingredients into something that felt special during hard times. People weren't just surviving, they were maintaining dignity through meals that nourished both body and spirit. Hamburger soup. Now let's talk about hamburger soup. During the harsh winter of 2019, when much of the Midwest was hit with record unemployment, this soup became a lifeline for countless families. You only need half a pound of ground beef, a few basic vegetables like carrots, potatoes, celery, and onion, a can of diced tomatoes, and some beef broth. For about $4.34, you can make a pot that serves 6 people. That's just 72 cents per serving. This isn't just soup, it's liquid gold when temperatures drop and heating bills rise. The preparation couldn't be simpler. Brown your beef, add chopped vegetables and sauté until the onions are translucent. Add tomatoes and broth, then simmer for 30 minutes. The magic happens in that simmering time. Flavors meld together, creating something that tastes like it. Took all day to make. I interviewed my Aunt Doris, who raised 5 kids on a factory worker's salary in Detroit. She'd make this soup every Sunday, and they'd eat it for 3 days straight. It wasn't about being poor, she told me. It was about being smart with what we had. That wisdom has saved countless American families during economic downturns. Salisbury steak with mushroom gravy. During the 1970s energy crisis, when American families were stretched thin between gas rationing and rising food costs, This humble dish became a restaurant-quality meal that people could make at home for a fraction of the cost. You'll need half a pound of ground beef, some breadcrumbs, an egg, onion, mushrooms, flour, and beef broth. For about $4.37, you can feed 3 people, $1.45 per serving. The emotional payoff comes from creating something that tastes like you spent much more. Jim, a retired factory worker I interviewed, told me his mother made this every payday Friday during the 1950s. It wasn't about the ingredients, he said. It was about dignity. Even when money was tight, we felt like we were eating like kings. This recipe carries that same emotional weight today, turning necessity into a moment of pride. Mix beef with breadcrumbs, egg, half the diced onion, and seasonings. Form into oval patties and brown them in a skillet. Remove the patties. Sauté remaining onion and mushrooms in the same pan, add flour to make a roux, slowly whisk in broth, return patties to the pan, and simmer until the gravy thickens. Beef and bean burritos. During the 2020 pandemic, when millions of Americans faced unexpected job losses, these burritos became a lifeline for families navigating sudden financial insecurity. You only need a quarter pound of ground beef, a can of refried beans, 8 flour tortillas, a little cheese, and a tomato. For just $4.82, you can make 8 burritos. That's only 60 cents each. These can be individually wrapped and frozen, creating an emergency meal stash that many families relied on during uncertain times. Brown your beef with taco seasonings, mix with refried beans, spread onto tortillas, add diced tomato and cheese, then fold and roll. You can eat them as is or toast them in a dry skillet for a crispy exterior. If you're finding value in these budget-friendly recipes that have helped families through tough times, consider supporting us on Patreon. Your membership helps us research and develop more survival-focused content like this. The link is in the description, and your support means we can continue sharing these practical solutions with those who need them most. Now, back to these life-saving recipes that have gotten countless families through hard times. Sarah, a single mother of 3 in Ohio, told me these burritos helped her stretch her food stamps after being furloughed. It wasn't just cheap food, she explained. It was knowing I could feed my kids something they actually enjoyed eating, even when I could barely pay the rent. These burritos represent the resilience of American families who refuse to let financial hardship. Today, simple beef stroganoff. When the dot-com bubble burst in the early 2000s and many Americans suddenly found themselves unemployed, this simplified version of a classic Russian dish provided comfort without breaking strained budgets. For about $4.64, you can make 4 servings. That's $1.16 per person. You'll need half a pound of ground beef, 8 ounces of egg noodles, 8 ounces of mushrooms, some sour cream, and an onion. David, a software engineer who lost his job during that recession, told me this meal became his family's Friday night tradition. It felt special enough that we didn't feel deprived, he explained. That psychological boost was as important as the nutrition. Brown your beef with diced onion, add sliced mushrooms and cook until softened. Sprinkle with flour, cook for 1 minute, then slowly add water or broth. Simmer until thickened, remove from heat, and stir in sour cream. Serve overcooked egg noodles. This recipe continues to provide that same emotional nourishment to families weathering economic uncertainty. Today, Texas hash. During the farm crises of the 1980s, when rural American families faced foreclosures and financial devastation, this hearty one-pan meal offered sustenance and comfort using ingredients many farm families had on hand. For just $3.82, you can make a skillet that feeds 5 people. That's only 76 cents per serving. You'll need a 1/3 pound of ground beef, a cup of rice, an onion, a bell pepper, and a can of diced tomatoes. Martha, who grew up on a family farm during that difficult period, told me this dish was how her mother fed 8 people when selling. The farm seemed inevitable. It wasn't fancy, she said, but it kept us going through the uncertainty. We knew as long as Mum could make Texas hash, we'd be okay. Brown your beef with diced onion and pepper, add uncooked rice, tomatoes, water, and seasonings. Cover and simmer for 20 minutes until rice is tender. This meal continues to provide that same reassurance to rural families facing economic challenges today. Skillet tamale pie. During the Dust Bowl era, when many American families were displaced and facing dire economic circumstances, this hearty one-pan meal provided maximum nutrition with minimal equipment, perfect for families with limited kitchen access. For about $4.75, you can make a skillet that feeds 6 people. That's only 79 cents per serving. You'll need a third pound of ground beef, cornmeal, a can of black beans, a can of corn, a can of diced tomatoes with green chilies, and some cheese. Dorothy, whose grandparents traveled west during the Dust Bowl migration, told me this tamale pie helped her family survive that journey. They could make it in one cast-iron skillet over a campfire, she explained. It gave them strength to keep going toward the hope of a better future. Brown your beef, add beans, corn, tomatoes, and seasonings. Mix cornmeal with water to make a thick batter. Spread over the top, sprinkle with cheese, cover, and cook until cornbread layer is set. This adaptable, equipment-minimal approach continues to support families facing housing insecurity and limited cooking facilities today. In these challenging economic times, I hope these 25 ground beef recipes that cost under $5 each give you the practical tools to feed your family well without breaking your budget. These aren't just recipes, they're the collected wisdom of generations of Americans who found ways to thrive despite financial hardship. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more practical, budget-friendly content. Remember, tough times don't last, but tough people do, especially when they know how to make their food dollars stretch further.